Well, certainly, yes, another day of action here at the US Consulate outside here in Sandton. As you know, that it's throngs of pro-Palestine protesters really calling for the ceasefire, especially in light of the two-day hearings that we have seen before the International Court of Justice, where South Africa took the state of Israel for invading Gaza. But now, let's hear from a man really who knows the entire situation from Gaza. So, Dr. Eid, thank you so much indeed for your time, Doctor. Maybe first and foremost, Doctor, how's the situation on the ground? I mean, we've seen horrific scenes coming from Gaza, but from your vantage point, how's the situation?
Well, in fact, I spent the first 2 months actually in Gaza until I was contacted by the South African embassies in Ramallah and Cairo, and I was evacuated with other 18,000 South Africans. And in fact, when I left, the situation was terrible. This is a genocide. Now, the figure of the victims has risen to more than 24,000 dead people and more than 55,000 injured. There's no water, there's no electricity, there is no medicine. People are literally starving. I keep calling my family almost every single day, and they keep complaining about the lack of food, the lack of water, the lack of electricity, connectivity, etc., etc. So the South African government has understood that, and this is why they have decided to take the issue to the ICJ.
And what did you make of the 2 days, the arguments where we saw South Africa arguing about the genocidal intent, but also talking about the irreparable harm in Gaza?
Well, I can't comment on the first day, not the second day. The second day was full of lies, and actually I don't feel like responding to those lies because I am, a victim of those lies. I'm a victim of those perpetrators of crimes against humanity and war crimes. But the first day, definitely what South Africa did, I have been contacted by so many friends, colleagues and comrades from Gaza and Palestine, appreciating what the South Africans did actually at the ICJ. I mean, even us Palestinians wouldn't have even defended the Palestinian cause and the suffering of the Palestinian cause, the South African legal team did. And the reason is very clear, because you've been there. You South Africans suffered from apartheid. Israel is an apartheid state that has gone even beyond the crimes, the crimes committed by the apartheid system in South Africa. Anti-apartheid activists, the likes of the late Desmond Tutu, Ronnie Castles, even Nelson Mandela himself, when he visited Palestine, he said, what you are going through in Palestine is far worse than what we witness in under apartheid.
And obviously quite a very symbolic move outside the US diplomatic mission here in Johannesburg, and a very clear message for the cessation of hostilities, for a permanent ceasefire. And we know that the US has been a main backer of Israel. What's your message to the US?
Well, the US is an enabler of the genocide. Actually, the colonial West has been enabling this genocide, have been supporting apartheid Israel and committing these war crimes and crimes against humanity. And I'm coming here to South Africa with a very clear message from Palestinian civil society in Gaza. What we need right now is an immediate ceasefire and the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. And we want an end to this deadly hermetic siege that has been imposed on Gaza for more than 16 years.
And just before I let you go, Doc, maybe just briefly, are you optimistic that the ICJ will really make a ruling that is positive, that is in favor of the people of Gaza?
Well, based on the performance of the South African legal team, I am very, very optimistic, in fact. And all the Palestinians who have contacted me, showing appreciation to what the South African legal team actually did in Lahai. I think based on that, I can tell you that we are very optimistic.
All right, Doc, thank you so much indeed for your time. Of course, from the perspective of Palestine, so appreciative of South Africa's concerted efforts before the ICJ, where we saw the hearings where South Africa took Israel, but also Israel presented its own argument, saying it's all about self-defense. Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.